Ryan Theriot leading off today for Pinella, then Milton Bradley in the 2-hole. He's been effective so far in this series. Derek Lee third. And Jake Fox will start at third. Aramis Ramirez is going to be down for 4 or 5 days with that shoulder injury. Kosuke Fukudomi went deep last night, had a couple of RBIs, so he's back in the 5-hole. Then Alfonso Soriano. Jeff Baker, the former Rockies, at second base. Coy Hill doing the catching as he will hit 8th. Here's the scouting report brought to you by Fidelity. Jason Hamel.
That fastball, that riding fastball, he's the one that's got to be able to get some downward plane on it to get those other pitches, the curveball, the slider, and the all-important changeup, especially here at altitude. And you look at what Jason's been able to do during the day. 2-3 with a 3.41 ERA.
Well, Theriot's 4 for 9 in the series as he steps in. He hits little flare off the end of his bat to help. That's an interesting approach. First pitch swinging by Theriot against the guy I don't think he's real familiar with.
Well, he's not.
Surprised by that. Let's take a look at the Toyota defensive alignment for the Rockies. Carr goes in left, Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler in center, Brad Hoffman right, Stewart, Tulowitzki, Barmes, and Pelt first start in a couple of games for Barmes, and Jordi Torrealba doing the catching. Oh, Bradley messed it up. I was about to say, at this pace, he could throw 27 pitches, have a perfect game.
Well, the only reason the average against Hamwell on the first pitch swing is 365.
Yeah, how about that? The bat went further than the baseball. You got a hustle. Safe. Wow. The bat threw off the timing of that. Clint Barmes saw the bat flying in his direction, and the ball didn't go very fast. The bat ends up in short right field, about 45, 50 feet farther than the ball went.
Well, and also at the area right where Clint Barmes was standing, and you could see Todd Helton just momentarily think about going after and getting this baseball. But Clint, he saw the barrel of the bat go. So his first 2 steps were hit to his right, because that's what you see, that's what your mind processes, and then realize, wait, that's the bat, the ball's over here, I've got to try to readjust.
Derek Lee steps up. Lee hit a home run yesterday against Jason Marquis, his 23rd of the year. Hamel really holding the baseball with Milton Bradley at first. The home run from last night, that's just a mislocation. That was really the story of the night for Jason. An unusual outing in that he struggled with command. That pitch was way up in the zone against Lee. Fastball's down, ball 1. Home plate umpire this afternoon is the veteran Bill Welke. Jim Reynolds at first, Chris Caccione is at second base, and Angel Campos is at third. Just a perfect afternoon for baseball. Great weather this series, tremendous crowds. That's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jason Hamel trying to move to 7-6 on the year. This is his 20th start. He has never faced the Cubs.
And that works to his advantage. We talk about that all the time, as a hitter or as a pitcher, who has the advantage. To me, it's always the pitcher right away, because the hitter's not sure where the ball's coming from, how it moves.
And this is fisted to center field. Dexter Fowler makes the catch. So the first 3 hitters have not seen the baseball on the barrel. 2 off the end of the bat and 1 jam shot that resulted in a base hit for Milton Bradley. Let's take a look at our Bird Automotive keys to the game. What do you have, Huey?
Well, I'm going to flex some muscles. You think back to last night, 11 hits, 10 of them were singles, just a solo shot there by Clint Barmes. But during the day, the ball just really flies well. Then 1, 2, 3. We're talking about the top of the lineup for the Rockies, but also the top 3 for the Cubs. They've done a fine job in this series. Keep them at bay and then Hamel at home. We talked about him a little bit. He's got to establish some dominance here at Coors Field.
Missed location, but it's a strike on the inside corner on Jake Fox. Fox getting the start for Ramirez. Had 3 at-bats in the series without a hit.
Jake Fox really likes the ball inside. He tries to pull everything.
1 ball and 1 strike on Fox.
Pitches that work well then obviously are going to be the fastballs away or any sort of off-speed pitch where you get him to try to open up too quickly on the front side.
In the air, right center field. Long run for Brad Hawk. And it's a ground rule double, and that's a big break for the Rockies. That is a huge break because Bradley's going to have to go back to third base.
Big break, and the other thing that helped the Rockies, since it's during the day, that warning track, they don't water that down, so that becomes a little bit more hard, and that's what caused this ball to bounce out. Jake Fox, you see from the Hyundai cam, he tried to pull that ball just a little bit late on his swing, and then that's where that hard warning track caused that ball to bounce over. Many times we'll see that ball hit the fence and stay in play.
Now if Hamill can get Fukudome, he can get out of this mess. 2 in scoring position with 2 outs. And he throws it past Fukudome. That was a good pitch. He was down in the zone.
And with movement too. And anytime Jason is able to create that downward plane, that's when he gets some sink on the ball, especially to the left-handed hitters. When he throws it more of the thigh to belt area, that's when it really flattens out.
That's a strike right above the belt. Last night, the only mistake Yolis Chacin made, he left a sinker up in the zone. Fukudome hit it out. Other than that, Chacin was wonderful. Struck out 4 in 2 innings. And keep in mind, it's a 1-run game.
Yeah.
47, almost 48,000 people here. Jim Tracy really felt like he took another step last night. Swung on and missed. Great job by Hamill with 2 in scoring position on 3 pitches. He strikes out Fukudome. Rockies on offense when we come back. This afternoon, Jim Tracy's lineup looks like this. Dexter Fowler and Carlos Gonzalez, 1-2 in the lineup. Then Helton, Tulowitzki, and Hop in the middle, followed by Stewart, Barmes, who homered last night, Yorvi Torrealba, and then the pitcher Jason Hamill. Let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on the converted catcher, Randy Wells.
Fastball 88 to 92 miles an hour. Sink it, use it both sides of the plate, slider, changeup. Very short arm action. That's what he's got, that old catcher still throwing in his arm.
And he's been a very consistent strike thrower. In his last 9 starts, he's 8-1 with a 2.85 ERA.
Just 23 walks or over 102 innings.
Watching tape on him, you and I both were. He gets a lot of movement on his sinker. I mean, he's a sinker slider guy. He's not going to overpower you with his fastball.
No, and the other thing too is he starts more on the first base side of the rubber, so the ball really runs away from a left-hander. A lot of times when you see a sinker ball pitcher, he starts on the third base side, so that ball will sink even more into a right-hander. Randy feels more comfortable on the first base side.
And this is there. It's 3-1. And he's been very good out on the road. 4-1 with a 2.42 road ERA.
And just a 2.29 batting average against.
And he walks Dexter Fowler, so we brag on his control, and he promptly walks the leadoff man. Take a look at the Cubs defensively. Soriano in left, Fukudome in center, Milt Bradley in right. He made a very good catch last night. Jake Fox, Ryan Terrio left side. Jeff Baker, who's more of a left side infielder. He's on the right side with Derek Lee, and Coy Hill is behind the plate. To Bake's credit, he's become a very serviceable second baseman through hard work.
Well, and that's what it's been, hard work. Think about it. In college, he was a shortstop and then moved over to third base. I think about laying down a bunt. If I'm Carlos Gonzalez, maybe test Jake Fox a little bit over at third base. Converted catcher, hadn't played many games at the big league level. This is just his 15th start down at third base. Randy Wells pretty quick to the plate. He's that old catcher. He knows how important it is to give your catcher a little help.
Now right now he's trying to touch the outside corner with the two-seamer. You can see a little frustration on how he received the baseball back from Coy Hill. He's got so much run on the fastball that he's missed the outside corner to the two lefties.
Well, now you're looking for a fastball right over the middle part of the plate, maybe a hit and run.
No movement. There's the bunt. It goes foul. You were a very good bunter, and I think sometimes when guys drag, they get the eyes out in front of the barrel.
Exactly. They leave the bat behind themselves, so all of a sudden you can't see the ball. The Hyundai Cam now, the barrel is behind his eyes. That's the problem. Is now you're trying to feel exactly where it is when you can't see the ball hit the barrel of the bat.
I love this combination up top of Fowler and Gonzalez. You want to talk about the ability to put big-time heat on a defense.
33 stolen bases between the two of them. Dexter with 25, Carlos with 8. And yeah, it just puts a lot of pressure because all of a sudden you got to shorten up quite a bit as a middle guy. Now you provide a little bit more range. Notice where Jake Fox is. He's two steps in on the grass.
2-1 on Gonzalez. Fowler dives back in.
Coy Hill behind the plate, though, he has a very strong arm. So if you're going to go, you got to make sure that you get a good jump. Coy's thrown out 41% of the runners against him this year.
There goes Fowler, and it's chopped slowly. The dive, that's going to be an infield hit. Randy Wells was the only man, obviously, who had any chance at fielding that ball. And even if he does, he's going to have to flip it with the glove.
Yep, very difficult play for him. And you're right, Drew. He was the only one in that whole neighborhood that could try to get to this ball. Dexter takes off on the swing. Carlos goes ahead and takes a whack at it. Randy dives for it. And really dived kind of over the top of the ball. And Carlos, but that's where the speed comes in, though. Because Wells knowing that he's the only guy that can be able to make this play, and if he does, he's got to get rid of it quickly because of the speed that we talked about.
And now here's Helton with 63 RBIs. Rockies have an opportunity, as you threw out one of your keys to the game, get after Randy Wells early. That pitch is down low. Randy Wells pitching at Coors Field for the first time. Last night, Todd had a couple of hits and 4 trips. Riding a 13-game hitting streak. That's a strike, 1-1. Fans, feed your Rockies fever at Taco Bell. When the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, you know the deal. Go to Taco Bell the next day between 4 and 6. Feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1. That's a steal. 1-2. Todd, in his comfort zone. Two-strike approach.
It is, and that's the first time that we've seen Randy Wells come inside to anybody. That was a hard slider down and into Helton. The rest of the time he's trying to work the sinker weight. Very rarely will he back up a slider with another slider. See Ryan Terrio would kind of give a bluff out there to second base to make sure Dexter Fowler doesn't get too big of a lead.
But this kid who started his minor league career as a catcher, he gets it. I mean, he immediately stepped off the bat.
Yep.
See some guys go ahead and throw to the plate. 2-2. Well, 5th in the National League, hitting with 2 strikes. He's at 259, which is actually about 20 points beneath what he's done in his career, which over the last 10 years is the best in baseball. 2-2. And it is a base hit to left field. Fowler around third. He's coming home. Gonzalez trying to go to third. He's safe there. And now Helton's going to move up. 1-0 Colorado. Nobody out. Runners at second and third for Troy Tulowitzki. And a 14-game hitting streak for number 17. That was a classic 2-strike hit, wasn't it?
I was just thinking that it's just vintage Todd Helton, because it's just a half swing, kind of a volley lob over to the left field line. A slider down and away from him and drops that back elbow, and that's what allows him to drop the barrel down into the hitting zone. The Hyundai Cam right off the end of Todd Helton's bat, kind of slices it over the head of Jake Fox. Well, Dexter Fowler scores easily, but I like the aggressiveness of Carlos Gonzalez to put the pressure on Alfonso to make a perfect throw.
Inside ball 1. Soriano's throw. Short hop to third baseman Fox. That's a difficult one to handle, so it's an error on Soriano.
Yeah, and that's where it also becomes a case where you got a guy that's not as comfortable playing third base as, say, Ramos Ramirez.
2-0 on Tulowitzki, and now Coy Hill's going to make his way to the mound. And now Larry Rothschild says, yeah, I better join this guy. He's still young in terms of a big league pitcher. He's a rookie after all. And he started his career, as we said, as a catcher, and pretty early on, maybe they didn't come right out and tell him, but they said, I don't know if you're going to hit enough to be a big league player.
Well, I was around then when he was coming up, and he couldn't. Yeah, I mean, it was plain and simple that he was drafted in the 38th round, and he only caught on Sunday. So that gives you a pretty good idea right away at the minor league level what's going to happen. But he always showed the arm strength, and O'Neary Fleeta, the farm director, Lester Strode, who's out in the bullpen, decided, you know what, before we release this guy, let's give him a shot on the hill. What? Think about this now. First time at Coors Field, you hear all the horror stories, whatever, and now you can put your pressure on.
Big swing and a miss there from Tulowitzki. Got a pitch on the inner half, and he was thinking the downs.
Yeah, with nobody out, you still want to think the downs, and if you do, you think the downs to right center field. Because you're going to get a pitch. If you're patient enough, you'll get something that you can drive.
2-2. Now Troy's got to shorten up. Got to get the ball in play. The Cubs are conceding a run here in the first inning. The infield's back. Slider that was up in the zone.
Yeah, it just didn't break like he thought it was going to, and it just too big of a loopy swing.
Two and two. And this ball ripped to left for a base hit. Helton will have to stop at third base as Gonzalez scores. Tulowitzki comes through on a pitch that was up in the zone. It is 2-0. And still nobody out. A walk and now 3 straight singles to greet Randy Wells.
And the key is what you just said, Drew, is that fastball that was up. And then just a few moments ago I said, if you're patient enough, you're going to get a swing, but that toe tap that has been so useful for Troy comes through again. And only because it was hit so hard, Richie Dower had to hold up Todd Helton, because he got a pretty good read out at second base, but it was hit so hard with nobody out. So don't run yourself out of an inning.
Brad Hopp steps up. Brad swings through that offering, so it's 0-1. Hop last night had an RBI single. He was 2 for 4. He had a 2 RBI ball game on Friday. So 3 RBIs in his last 2 ball games. First time in a while Brad has had RBIs in back-to-back games. Outside 1-1.
Think about where that RBI was. It was to left field, staying on the ball just a little bit more.
This gets away. Helton thought about it for a moment.
Thought better.
And was smart.
Well, I think if it gets away from Derek Lee, probably another 10, 15 feet, he'll think about going.
Now, Todd told me earlier in the clubhouse he wanted me to talk about his speed today. And so I'm going to. Todd, with your speed, it was a wise move you didn't go.
Yes, it was.
He used to talk about my speed.
He didn't say how.
Right. He didn't say lack thereof.
Right. Or
Actually,
my speed when I was a rookie, or my speed now.
Actually, what I told him I was going to say is that next time you get on first, today when you're on first, and say, boy, it's been a while since you tried a straight steal, at least a week.
That's right.
He said, yeah, go with that one. That'll be a good one. 2-1 on Brad Hop. Tulowitzki not going, and this ball is yanked to second. And we'll get a run home. It'll be a double play. So Helton scores, and it's 3-0 Colorado. A little different situation there strategically for Jim Tracy. Tulowitzki has demonstrated pretty good functional speed stealing bases this year. But I think the reason you didn't send him, he knows 41% behind the plate, pretty quick to the plate, and the runner at third is not a speed,
exactly.
Talking seriously, is not a speed guy.
No,
so they're going to throw through.
Exactly right. If you're thinking maybe Dexter Fowler, Carlos Gonzalez over at third, yeah, then I'm thinking about sending him, because now your attention might be diverted between the two.
1-0. Next pitch will be the 25th of the inning for Randy Wells.
And that's what the Rockies have been very successful at lately, getting that pitch count up for a lot of pitchers early into the ball game. So next thing you know, you look up, it's the 5th or 6th inning, and they're already at 100, 110 pitches. You got to get into that bullpen.
Ball and 2 strikes on Stewart. Sitting on 18 home runs, 53 driven in. And Wells strikes out Stewart to end the inning. But the Rockies come up with 3 runs against Wells and have a 3-0 lead as we close the book on the first inning. 3 straight hits after a walk to foul. And Soriano just had his knees buckled. Soriano committed an error in that first inning. Watch the Hyundai cam and the curveball here. Watch Soriano's knees.
Yeah, well, they'll go, uh-oh, I don't want to be any part of this.
Back line, fly ball center field. Dexter Fowler makes the catch. One out. Jeff Baker coming up. Let's check in with Lana Rizzo, our Mike Shaw Auto Update. Hey, Alana.
Hey, Drew, thanks very much. You know, you guys have mentioned several times about how Jim Tracy always seems to be about 10 steps ahead of the game. I talked to him about that in terms of his management staff. Did he learn that from Felipe Alou? And he said, you know what, it's a collection of things over 30 years around the game. But one thing he does do specifically that a lot of other managers don't, according to him, is that he builds a rotation from the 9th inning back instead of the 1st inning forward. He said, hopefully, if you're lucky enough with your rotation to get you deep into the ball game, you're thinking about that anyway. He said that way you're never surprised with any of the matchups that can come up, Drew.
No, you will never see Jim Tracy caught surprised by a situation that unfolds during a game. He is always extremely well prepared. Jeff Baker, the former Rocky, in his first swing against his former club, hits one off the center field wall.
Missed location. That's what allowed him to drive the ball to center field. And we know about Bake's power. It's one of those things that he's got power from right field to left field, and hit that one about 3/4 of the way up the wall in center field.
Now Coy Hill steps in, and he gets a base hit. Now Baker waited for a moment, and he's going to stop at third base. He knows all about Brad Hopp's arm. I think he got a great read on that.
Well, as a base runner out at second base, you're always taught to look and see where the fielders are. You know, not only the infielders, but the outfielders. And right now, this ball was hit hard, sure, but you have to know where the right fielder's playing and get a little bit better read than what you do. And then Bake, you'll see right here, he takes off. Uh-oh, is it far enough? But at that time, it is too late.
Hamill's got to get the ball down.
Yep.
First inning, he got him in a little bit of trouble. He's given up 4 hits already. 2 doubles, 2 singles. You had the pitcher, Randy Wells, up there. And though he may have not had a projected enough bat right at third, chance for 2. Bad throw there. They get the out call and the out call at first. They get a break from the second base umpire, Chris Caccioni. They got the neighborhood call.
Wow, they got lucky there.
They did. Looked like that throw. Here comes Piniella. Piniella chasing down Chris Caccioni. And Lou may have a case.
Yeah, just from the naked eye, it sure looked like he was way off the bag there.
And Lou's gone. 2-1 count on Clint Barmas, and Randy Wells has that ball hit hard. Derek Lee, who has 3 gold gloves, steals a hit from Barmas. Well, let's revisit that double play that closed the Cubs out in the second.
You can see he's about a foot off the bag before he even catches the ball.
Now, Huey, as you know, you played in the middle of the infield for more than 10 years. If you'll get the neighborhood call, typically, if on your own you field the ball and you skip your feet past to kind of save your body on a hard slide, but that ball took him way off the base.
Yeah, and you can understand Lou's frustration. Chris Cuccione just throws him out, but I mean, that was just a missed call.
And Chris is a very good young umpire, and the ball clearly took the fielder, in this case Clint Barmas, out of line. You know what? You get breaks in the game, and the Rockies get a break there, and hopefully they'll continue to take advantage. They took advantage of some shoddy defense last night in the 4th inning by the Cubs to put up 4 runs.
Well, think back last night, too. There was a check swing that was not called on Derek Lee that come back to haunt the Rockies, cost them a run last night. So it's going to happen throughout the course of a ball game, throughout the course of a season. But that one was just clearly missed.
Jason Hamill takes a strike, 2 outs. Now, starting to say before Wells pulled the bunt back, went with the slug bunt, you had to be wary of that, because even though he was deemed early in his career not to maybe have what it would take to hit at the big league level, he still was at one point in time a position player.
Right. And so you can do those types of things with guys like a Randy Wells, who has been swung his bat most of his life, and not just all of a sudden when he comes to the big league level, you got to do it.
We had a double miss there, and you hate to see that.
Well, you could just tell the crowd's reaction.
Well, we had a Cub fan booted it in the first row of the upper deck, and then somebody booted it in the next level, so it went all the way down to field level. I said, wait a second, the guy with the higher price ticket ends up with a baseball. That's not right. There's one boot, there's another boot, and you know what? That was a for 3, and then it's off to South Florida as the Rockies will take on the Marlins, a team very much still in the National League wild card chase, maybe even the National League East race. We go to the top of the 3rd. Rockies up 3-0. Ryan Theriot, the leadoff hitter for the Cubs, takes strike 1 from Jason Hamill, who had a 5-pitch second inning. And that bounces up there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that first go round through the order for Jason Hamill and the Cubs, they were pretty well swinging at the first or second pitch.
That's a good looking pitch. 1 and 2.
Only the second time in today's ball game that we're going to go to a 4th pitch to a batter.
The Cubs came out very aggressive inside 2 and 2. In fact, I was shocked when Terrio, who'd never seen Hamill, swung at the very first pitch of the game.
Yeah, 4 of the first 9 guys that he faced swung at the first pitch.
Well, it works out there on the 5th pitch. A line single for Terrio. That is the 5th hit already for the Cubs. And that'll bring up Milton Bradley. We endeavor to, as we talk about all the time, but particularly on the weekends, support responsible fatherhood. We have a couple of fans up here, one young and one younger. Okay. Zach and Trevin Callis are with us. Welcome. How you guys doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. Get your Rockies purple on. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his baseball team of the Rockies. So
perfect.
Nice.
Perfect. Let's watch this pitch to Milton Bradley and then understand you guys have a question for us.
yeah, we do. Our question was on a strike 3 when the ball gets past the catcher and the runner advances to first, how they record it, and also wonder if anyone's ever gotten 4 strikeouts in an inning that way.
That's happened a number of times, 4 strikeouts. How do you write it down, Jeff?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it's a strikeout and a wild pitch. It could be a strikeout or a pass ball.
This is a base hit for Bradley. Now 2 are on.
So either way, it
is a strikeout.
Strikeout, yes.
From the pitcher's standpoint, I mean that's why you can strike out an infinite number of batters in a game. And it's either the official score, if it gets away, it's either going to give a pass ball on the catcher, allowing the runner to reach, or a wild pitch, and somehow the hitter swung at it, and that's how it's recorded. Well, Zach and Trevin, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah, thanks. It was nice. Cool to be up here.
Yeah, you bet. Have fun, buddy. You're all 5, right? 5. Not a baby. You know, he may be a running back. That or a catcher. He's got big legs on him, huh?
He loves to play everything.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, the Rockies have an issue right now. 2 on, Derek Lee at the plate, nobody out. And he pops it up. Tulowitzki going out. Here comes Gonzalez. He's going to call him off.
Perfect.
Yep, that's the way it should be done.
That's right. The outfielders have a priority over the infielders, especially today with this high sky. It's a very difficult sky to look at because you have no clouds, nothing to have a backdrop against, and Troy's backpedaling. And a lot of times when you, as an outfielder, your gauge is if you take a quick peek and you see that guy still backpedaling, then I'm going to go ahead and call him off. If he's stationary, camped underneath it, waving his arms, and okay, he's probably got the ball. But since he was still backpedaling, call him off. It's an easier play for you.
Yep, 1 out, 2 on. Jake Fox coming up. Each week we talk about responsible fatherhood. You can learn more at coloradodads.com. coloradodads.com. Doug Marino, who does such an outstanding job for us up here as our statistician/researcher. We had a lot of fun. We give Doug a hard time all the time. But Doug just quickly looked up, and you'll appreciate this, Callis family. 51 times in the history of the game, there have been 4 strikeouts recorded in an inning. Good breaking ball, 1-1. And the last to do it, it was a year ago in June, Scott Shields of the Angels did it. So a little more information for you to take with you.
51 times.
51 times.
Wow.
Never happened 5 times, has it, Doug?
Has it ever been done by a Rockies pitcher?
Never been done by a Rockies pitcher. Nope.
Just hit him.
It did hit him. Now the bases are loaded for Fukudome. Don't create your own issues.
Nope, the Hyundai Cam trying to work inside. Just really caught the jersey, though. Didn't even catch him on any sort of meat part of the body. Just that extra hanging over of the jersey. You get him a little bit bigger sometimes. You get that hit by pitch.
The last thought on our 4 strikeouts inning. Actually, it did happen one time. Bruce Ruffin with the Rockies in '96 struck out 4 in an inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. Kosuke Fukudome at the plate. 3-0 Colorado. And it's high. I don't know what it is with Hamill. Is it, you think it's gotten in his head a little bit?
I really do, because you don't see that same compact delivery where he's staying on his back leg a little bit longer. You see him start to rush out there, leave his arm behind. When he does that, that's what leaves the ball up. At home, it's more of a compact, or on the road, excuse me, and that downward plane where he really finishes outside on the front side, gets that arm extension.
Hamill's been staked to a 3-0 lead. Even if you give up a run here, we always talk about minimize damage. I love Tulowitzki's leadership, and he had this in 07 as a kid.
Well, yeah, and you look at it, all it does is it slows the game down just for a second. So you say, you know what, go ahead and make your quality pitch. We're behind you. If they hit it on the ground, we're going to turn a double play. Don't worry about that.
And that is a base hit. Bradley around third, stops. So it's a single, an RBI, and it's 3-1. And here comes Bob Apodaca. Hamill's not fooling anybody. I mean, a lot of balls have been hit hard.
Well, and the problem too is it's all right in this area. Watch that pitch right there. I mean, that's good hitting. If you go up to the plate knowing that you're going to get a flat fastball at 90 miles an hour with no sink on it.
In that first inning, when they were ultra aggressive, he got a couple of broken bats. But he has not pitched down in the strike zone. And now you have a guy who is of particular, a rare talent in Alfonso Soriano. He'll strike out a bunch, but he also can reach the nickel seats. He used to be nickel seats. 19 home runs, and Josh Fogg already stretching, which in a moment will take us to another topic concerning the rotation. Soriano way out in front. We'll go there now. Aaron Cook, as you may have read in the newspapers, has a toe injury. He had to leave his last start in Philadelphia early. He was scheduled to go Tuesday. He's been pushed back to Saturday in Florida. This ball's hooked foul, which means the Rockies need a starting pitcher on Tuesday to open the Pirates series. Jim Tracy, before the ball game, said in all likelihood it will either be Josh Fogg or Yolis Chacin, depending on how the next 2 ball games play out. I think his preference would be to go with Fogg.
Yeah, and guys,
but if he's got to use him, say, for instance, today or tomorrow, because you win today and worry about tomorrow.
Right. And that's why he hasn't named that starter for Tuesday, just for that reason. If he has to go out in the next inning or so and go to Fogg for 3 innings, then obviously he's not going to be ready to go on Tuesday. So you go to Chacin and have him available where he could throw 60 to 75 pitches.
Shattered bat, and it's floating in the air. Barmes gloves it. And Jake Fox got back to second base just in time.
Well, the barrel of that bat went about 15, 17 rows up into the stands. He worked away with slider, slider, slider. In the one area from the Hyundai cam, you can see that ball got in onto the barrel. The one area that you can get Soriano, because he has that crouched over, it is up and into him, because he's got to stand up to try to get it. Well, he wasn't able to get there. The barrel of the bat went sailing into the stands.
Plus, he's always been a dead pull hitter.
Yep.
Here's Jeff Baker, who doubled off the center field wall, and he swings and misses at a slider.
Well, that's 3 very, very good sliders since Bob Apodaca has gone out and talked to Jason Hamill and got him back to what I had talked about a second ago. Stay back on that rubber just a little bit longer. Allow your arm to catch up. Finish out in front. And now you're getting that downward action on the slider that we saw in Philadelphia.
Good block by Torrealba, 1-1.
Jeff Baker, a career .295 hitter at Coors Field.
You know, in football, we always talk about a close game. Somebody's got to go make a play.
Yep.
Coaches are fond of saying that. Well, right now, Jason Hamill needs to make a pitch.
Well, he's created the mess for himself, so he's got to make a pitch to get out of it, whether it's a strikeout, get some help from your defense, whatever it is. keep the lead at 3-1.
And again, it's a breaking ball, and he's out in front, 1-2. Here's the Hyundai cam.
And it's a great shot from the Hyundai cam, too, because as the ball is chasing away from Jeff Baker, he just can't catch up to it. His bat's just not quite long enough to reach out there and get it.
Showing the fastball. Baker stayed off that. It's 2-2. Now, when you're a hitter at the plate, you say, okay, I understand this game. Here, he's got me twice on a breaking ball. He showed me the fastball. You got to be thinking he's going to throw a breaking ball, right?
Right, exactly. And that's maybe where you go to the fastball on the outside part of the corner if you wanted to.
They went fastball. He may have missed location by 2 feet, but he got the strike out of Baker. And that was enormous. Only 1 run comes in. It could have been far, far worse. Good job by Hamill. Canisters to make a donation of support. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Alana Rizzo, Dexter Fowler. Here's the 1-0, and it's 2-0. Fowler walked and scored in the first inning. Rockies got 3 in the first against Randy Wells. They lead it 3-1. Good job by Jason Hamill. Last inning, bases loaded, a run already in, and he was able to work out of it without any further damage. A big strikeout of a dangerous hitter in Jeff Baker.
Yeah, and the one right before that, Alfonso Soriano with the bases loaded.
Dex, go foul. Of course, Derek Lee, that's the one time you see one of those corner infielders trying to get the ball in fair territory.
Right. I mean, this ball wasn't where Dexter wanted to hit it. It was right down the line. He wanted to go more towards the second baseman. Fortunately, he had the rotation and the spin on the ball that it cut over into foul territory before Derek Lee could reach it or reach first base.
And that'll go foul. I looked this up at some point in the middle of last year. You know, there's a stat in baseball for everything. And there was one guy in the game who had actually tried to bunt for a hit, not once but twice last year, and that was Carlos Gomez with 2 strikes. That ball is under the glove of the normally sure-handed Derek Lee. Carlos Gomez tried to bunt for a hit twice with 2 strikes last year.
Not sure why you would do that.
Not feeling too good about the swing.
Yeah. Well, Dexter Fowler hits his ball to the right side. Watch Derek Lee where he approaches this ball. Instead of turning it over, trying to go barehand, he was trying to get in front of it at first, and it had a little bit more topspin than what he thought. And by that time, he couldn't get turned around, but it is a base hit for Dexter Fowler.
I'll tell you what, I understand now watching the Cubs the last 2.5 days why they're 14th in the league defensively.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Derek Lee being one of the most sure-handed guys out there. It's just not a very good mix right now. You think back to
well, Soriano's a butcher
yeah.
out there. I mean, he's a tremendous offensive player. He's got 9 errors in left field. That's ridiculous.
That is. I mean, even Ryan Theriot at shortstop has 13 errors. We saw an error last night by Ramirez. But conversely, throw that on the other side, flip it over to the Rockies, how good they are defensively, and all of a sudden you're not giving team extra outs. Well, Rockies were in this situation earlier back in the first inning, and might see a hit and run, maybe lay down a bunt, go butt and run.
Last time up, Carlos basically had a swinging bunt.
Well, there's a lot of area with Jake Fox playing in so close. There's a lot of area going right over there that if you hit and run, you can run for days.
This is how the Rockies got after Randy Wells in the first inning. Obviously, he has concern with Dexter Fowler at first. He knows the guy at the plate runs well.
Well, it goes back to what we talked about in our open. Speed at the top of the lineup just always puts a defense on their heels.
I think a pitcher also, Huey, gets a little bit quicker to the plate. Sometimes they fly open. You always talk about staying over the rubber. And now they're a little faster. Shoulder flies open. The ball stays out of, floats out of the strike zone.
They get jittery. It's like having that third cup of coffee when you only needed 2.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, those nerves are a little frayed.
3-0's in there, 3-1. Dexter, since the All-Star break, leading the Rockies in hitting. He came in at .421. Now at the infield hit, he's at .436 since the All-Star break.
Perfect opportunity to run for Dexter right now.
There he goes. And it's in the air to center field. Dexter's going to have to come back. One out. That'll bring up Helton. He punched a single to the left to score a run. The last night in the 4th inning, look at the defense or the lack thereof of the Cubs. That was ruled a hit. This, of course, is an error on Ramirez. Those are 2 balls that probably are double plays. And then the throw that was off from Soto in the 1st and 3rd situation. That Cubs fan going, what's going on here? He doesn't know what he is, a Cubs fan or a Reds fan. Didn't he have a Reds hat on? Or was
it was the red-colored alternate hat or something.
There goes Fowler, and the hesitation by Hill, and this ball off the glove. That's in the left field or right field. And Fowler will go to 3rd. Another error on cue.
A 3rd error now on Coy Hill. But it goes back to what we were just talking about a few moments ago. Is when Coy Hill comes out, he double clutches because he knows I have to get rid of this baseball very, very quickly. Theriot tries to go up and get it. He came right off the top of his glove. I mean, he got up high. He got up as high as he could get. But now you got a guy in the scoring position. You got Todd Helton up the bat. You got to bring the infield. All the things that you don't want as a manager, and you do want if you're a Rockies guy.
You're just giving away scoring opportunities.
And you got a veteran guy like Todd Helton against a rookie in Randy Wells that, quite frankly, hasn't looked too comfortable out there on the hill.
Well, I look at this team defensively and put your scouting hat on. First base is a plus defender. Third base, when Ramirez is out there, typically a plus defender.
Yep.
That's down. Everywhere else, save behind the plate, to me, they're below average.
Very below average, because even Fukudomi is a very good outfielder, but not as a center fielder. He's a very good outfielder as a right fielder.
Two balls, 2 strikes on top. Trying to get Fowler home with the Rockies' 4th run.
don't see those types of swings from Todd very often. Change up fooled him where he was way out in front.
Great thing about this 14-game hitting streak for Helt, it's his 6th of 14 games or more in his career. But I don't even consider him hot, do you?
No, not at all.
No, it didn't get him. The run scores. Todd with the great quickness got out of the way.
Well,
4-1 Colorado.
I kind of heard the tick, but it must have been off the dirt. And Todd was able to get those size 11.5 feet off the ground, allow Dexter Fowler to come in and score. You see how close from the Hyundai cam this gets to getting Todd. Now the other tick I heard was off the back part of Coy Hill's glove.
Think about how sloppy that is from Chicago's standpoint. Stolen base. It's a ground ball. It is going to result in an out as Jeff Baker throws out Todd Helt. 2 outs. Yeah, you have a base hit that kind of borderline error on Derek Lee. That he could have, either way, could have scored it.
Well, I've seen him make that play a lot of times.
Absolutely. 3 Gold Gloves. And he'll tell you afterward that that's a play he's got to make. So Fowler's on, stolen base, and then the ball ends up in right field on the steal. He's at third base, and you wild pitch him home. That's a gift.
It is, and now all of a sudden you extend that lead back to 3 runs where you kind of whittled it down to 2.
Tulowitzki had an RBI single on a 2-2 pitch back in the first inning.
Well, you think about Alan Trammell, he's their infield coach. He's the guy, and he was so solid defensively. And now he's the bench coach for Lou and is running the ball game since Lou's been kicked out. But this guy was as fundamentally sound catching the ball for the Detroit Tigers for 19 plus years.
And then he went and got to manage a Detroit Tiger team that was in transition and unfortunately didn't have many big league players when he was the manager.
Right. But that's how frustrating when you're a guy like Trammell and then you got to watch some of the plays that have happened. That's a frustrating thing.
Two and two. Here in the third inning, the pitch count for Wells nearing 60. In fact, his next delivery will be his 60th.
When I look at it also, and you think about this, only 7 pitches differentiate between strikes and balls.
This ball on the ground, deep in the hole is Terrio, and he makes a nice play. In the inning, the Rockies get a hit from Dexter Fowler, who now has a 6-game hitting streak, and he would come around to score with a little help from Chicago. 4-1 Rockies. Hopefully they'll cool off before the Rockies get there in
How
a
about
week.
Florida and Philly?
Yeah, they're beating them up 8-1. Cards beating the Pirates. Houston over Milwaukee. San Francisco, Cincinnati, Mets, San Diego just underway. Dodgers and Atlanta just underway. Detroit's defeated Minnesota. Hold on, we got to see a pitch here. Ball one on Coy Hill. Cleveland leading the White Sox in the 7th inning. Oakland shutting out Kansas City at Kauffman. No score, Texas and the Angels. Same deal, Tampa and Seattle. And another base hit. Coy Hill is 2 for 2. That is 8 hits in the ball game in 3+ innings for Chicago against Jason Hammel.
From a guy in Coy Hill who was just hitting 195 from the left side coming into today's ball game.
We talked about Randy Wells being a converted catcher. Coy Hill is a catcher who was a converted infielder. He was a third baseman primarily at Wichita State. Tremendous hitter there, and then they converted him behind the plate. Good bunt. Time to check in again with Alana Rizzo and our great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. It's the morning after your birthday.
The morning after the birthday, and I cannot recover
very good.
as well. Thank you. I can't recover as well as I used to, though. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about Tom Runnels' guy, TR, as we call him, the Rockies bench coach. I said, you know what? How have things been going for you since you guys took over on May 29th? He said, you know what? It has absolutely been wonderful. He said, everybody here, meaning the players, the organization, the team, everyone has been extremely receptive. He said, I had a lot of fun when I was down in Colorado Springs, and that's really transitioned to being up here with the big club. He said, it also helps that Jim Tracy and I have such similar personalities. We think the same way. He said he's the type of manager that is willing to listen to what I have to say, and even if he wants to do his own thing, that's okay, but we're very much a sounding board for one another. He said it's really been a tremendous amount of fun. We oftentimes give Jim Tracy a lot of credit, of course, because what the team has done since he took over, but Tommy Runnels is a big part of that, guys.
Well, there's a term that is used a fair amount in this game, and that is he's a good baseball man. And Tommy Runnels falls into that category.
Well, he is. He was my manager back in 1989 in AAA in Indianapolis, so I understand Tommy, how he works. And just because he's at the big league level now, his teaching has not stopped. And that's the thing. Every single day he's talking to somebody else, trying to teach him the finer points of the ball game. And a lot of times you think when you get to the big league level that the coaches quit teaching, and sometimes that does happen, or the players, they don't need to learn anything more because they already know it because they're here at this level. That's not the case with TR.
1-2 Ontario. Coy Hill at second base and 1 out. See, I like the location on that fastball. That's up above the hands on a guy typically he's not going to be able to get on top of that pitch.
Well, you're right, and that's the thing, but he still misses his location a little bit. That's the thing with Jason today. Every once in a while, he hasn't been able to hit his location from behind the cam. Notice how much Jorvid has to move his glove up, and that's you just can't get on top of that ball.
Good pitch in the air to center field. That is the second out. And that'll bring up Milton Bradley. Milton's 2 for 2. Windshield damage, don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass. 303-287-5000. Online at safelight.com. Milton last night threw out a couple of hits. He had a pretty solid series. Hit 2 walks on Friday. Down the left field line. Another hit for Bradley. And the Cubs are going to be within 2. This goes all the way to the corner. Bradley has himself a double. That's 9 hits for the Chicago Cubs.
Well, Bradley had really been pulling the ball earlier in the first 2 games. A lot of his hits were to right field. This time he stays on the ball, hits it past Ian Stewart. As a third baseman, I'm not thinking a left-hander is going to hit it between me and the line. If he usually hits it, it's in that 5.5 hole between the shortstop and the third baseman.
Derek Lee at the plate. Lee, a fly ball to center field and a fly ball to left field. They have changed the scoring on that ground ball that Dexter Fowler hit that initially was scored a hit. They've changed it now and given Derek Lee an error. Rockies received some help last inning. 2 errors and a wild pitch, allowing Fowler to score the Rockies' 4th run.
And unfortunately for Dexter, I think that is the right call, though. That's the play that Derek Lee has made.
1-2 on Lee. Yeah, there's no question.
But that goes back to the point where you extended the lead a little bit up to 4-1. Even though that so far the Cubs have scored a run, you still got that 2-run cushion. Two of the 4 runs earned by the Rockies today have been unearned runs.
Hamill's just trying to gut his way through this thing. And, you know, it's one of those ball games. Try to keep your team in front. It's 4-2 right now. He's going to need bullpen assistance.
Yeah, I mean, he's only thrown 53 pitches, but it's been a tough 53 pitches. So you hope you maybe get 5 or 6 innings tops.
The Rockies have been out hit 9-3, but have a 4-2 lead. And the Cubs, when they have 10 or more hits, have won 14 straight since the 1st of July. And overall, they're 30-7. When they score, when they limit the opponent to 3 runs or less, they're 55-15. Actually, let me say that again. When they score 3 or more runs, they're 55-15. Because typically, their pitching staff has done a good job. 3-2 now on Lee.
Be very careful that Derek Lee. Throw the best pitch that you feel comfortable with, and so far it's been a breaking pitch down and out of the zone.
Strike 3. He locked up Lee for the 3rd out. Cubs come up with a run on the Milton Bradley double. 4-2 Colorado. Defense has been, in a word, horrible. And to the Rockies' credit, they have taken advantage. Here's the 1-0 to Hop. That's off the plate, 2-0. Brad grounded into a 4-6-3 double play his first time up. A run did score on that double play. Rockies got 3 in the first against Randy Wells. 2-1. Brad drives one to left center field and deep. Way back and off the padding of the wall. Hop to second base will stop there. A leadoff double for Brad Hop. His 30th of the year.
Well, what we've seen from Brad since he's been home is staying on the ball better and driving it the opposite way. Hyundai Cam. What a beautiful swing in the extension from the arms. That's what allows him to drive that ball so far, and it came within an eyelash of going out.
Now Ian Stewart, who struck out his first time, is facing Randy Wells. Rockies putting more heat on Wells. He came in with a sub-3 ERA overall and a sub-2.5 ERA on the road. So Randy Wells has been a most impressive rookie.
Yeah, his last 8 starts, 7-1. But Ian's got to do his job. He's got to be able to drive this ball to the right side, if not to get a ground ball. Say, get Brad Hop into scoring position over at third base.
Inside. How good's Randy Wells been? Start talking about postseason awards now. We can do that. We're well into August. Rookie of the year candidates among pitchers. Wells, certainly. J-Hap. Rockies know all about him. Tommy Hanson. Been impressive with the Atlanta Braves. And how about of position players? You got to include Dexter Fowler in the grouping. Dexter, 265, 25 bags, scored a bunch of runs, played outstanding defense. Colby Rasmus, Gerardo Parra with Arizona, and Andrew McCutchen.
He might be the long shot only because he has about 100 less at bats than the rest of the guys.
But he's gotten some national press because of the 3-homer game.
Yeah, McCutchen only has 239 at bats, but get another look at him this coming series when the Pirates come to town.
By comparison, Dexter with 336 at bats coming in. You know, I tell you what, by the end of the year, it'll probably be somewhat close because McCutchen's out there every single day. We'll see him, as you said, in a few days. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that bat will have to be retired. May be able to buy that bat at a dugout store soon.
Well, and that's exactly right, or at Rocky Suites. I mean, because if you're looking for the perfect place to entertain, Drew, Coors Field Suites, the party facilities and picnic areas offer a unique atmosphere designed to fit any event and any budget. Be sure to ask about the buy one, get one free. Call 303-312-2444 for more information.
And Stewart unable to move Brad Hop. 3 strikeouts for Randy Wells. Second time he's gotten Stewart. And that takes us to our Affleck trivia question with Clint Barmas coming up. Affleck! Giovanni Soto won the National League Rookie of the Year award last season. Who was the previous Cub, the last Cub to win the award? You know what? I just thought of it.
Did you?
Yep. He was a very close race with a Colorado Rocky who's had a nice career.
Oh, yes. I got it. I got it now.
1-0 on Clint Barmas. Good swing by Barmas. Different guy the last 3 at bats.
He really is. I mean, take away the home run. I thought the line drive that he hit to left field was as good a swing as you've seen. Also, the ball he hit in the first inning, or the first time up for him, over to Derek Lee at first base. I mean, he stayed on that ball, hit it very hard, but just right at it. If that's a step or 2 either way, that's a base hit.
1-2. Hop at second.
Hard slider from Randy Wells. Really, he's figured out how to do it. As a pitcher making those different pitches, the Hyundai Camcoy Hill's able to catch it. And Clint Barmas, that out in front swing.
Down the line, gloved by Fox. 2 outs. And it'll be left to Yorvi Torrealba. First base is open. Just see how Chicago plays this.
Yeah, I'm looking down there and seeing maybe what Alan Trammell's thinking about doing here. Do you go ahead and put Torrealba on? Do you try to get him out so you have the pitcher leading off the next inning? So far, no signal about what's going to happen. Going ahead and going to pitch to Yorvik. And it might change if you throw a couple balls and you fall behind 1-0, 2-0. And then you go ahead and give the forward intentionally walk it.
And I think Wells, from Alan Trammell's standpoint, has earned this right because he's been a very consistent strike thrower in his rookie campaign.
Right, and there's a guy that has been a catcher before, so he understands how the game needs to be played right now.
2-0. Alan Trammell, Larry Rothschild talking, and
well, he
no
just
signal yet.
No, but he also looked at Corey Hill, put his finger to his head, and said, "Hey, be smart here."
So you won't see the center cut fastball.
Unless it's a mistake, but I would assume not. It's something down, hard slider maybe. Fastball off the plate. I just put him on now, though. I wouldn't mess around and think about a mistake. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do.
And either way, this works out for the Rockies in that you dismiss the pitcher here in the fourth. You hope somehow Jason Hamill can run into one, but if he does not, now next inning you start at the top of the order again.
Yeah, you're always talking, especially in the National League, about flipping the lineup over, and that's exactly what this allows the Rockies to do. Even if Jason doesn't get a hit, driving or whatever it is, at least you flip the lineup over to next half inning.
Hamill looking for his first RBI of the year. Now would be a nice time for that. That pitch is low. 1-0.
It wasn't the last homestand that we saw Jorge De La Rosa get his first RBI.
Yeah.
First couple RBIs of the season.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jason.
He went off offensively that day. This is a ground ball to second. Baker will go the short way. And the Rockies are done. They'll leave 2 on in the fourth inning. Didn't take advantage of the leadoff double by Brad Hawk. They do lead it 4-2 as we go to the fifth. more on car insurance, visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex, in print and online at dexknows.com. And by Burt Mazda. Lease a new Mazda 3 at Burt Mazda for only $159 a month. Plus, Burt Mazda will make your first payment. To the fifth inning at Coors Field. Rockies 4, Cubs 2. They've split the first 2 games of this series, and there'll be a ball game tomorrow night. Jorge De La Rosa will be on the hill for the Rockies. Affleck trivia question again. Giovanni Soto won the Rookie of the Year award in the National League last season. Who won the Rookie of the Year award before that in a Cubs uniform? The last, Kerry Wood in '98, narrowly beat Todd Helton for the Rookie of the Year award. I'll tell you more on that in a moment. Jake Fox at the plate, and he hits it off the end of the bat to short. Tulowitzki on the move, and Helton makes the grab, 1 out. Wood had 128 points that year. Helton finished with 119 points in the voting. Kerry Wood went 13-6, a 3.40 ERA. He struck out 233 in 166 2/3, and he had that 20 strikeout performance, which put him on the national map. And Helton hit .315, 25 home runs, 97 RBIs.
Well, and I think that's why he got it, because of that 1 strikeout performance. And yeah, that was a phenomenal game. But it did. It put him on the map.
Fukudome, thank you.
Thank you.
That's 2 pitches, 2 outs. 1 more, and he ties a long-standing Major League record. I'll bring up Alfonso Soriano. If your windshield's got a nick in it, call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or see them online at safelight.com. Third that year was the former bonus baby of Arizona, Travis Lee. I believe they gave Lee $10 million.
Yeah.
And you know, he had a pedestrian big league career. Never developed into the star many thought he would become. Kerry Lightenberg, former Atlanta Brave pitcher, was 4th. That was interesting. What happened there?
Well, it was a breaking pitch, curveball, 77 miles an hour. Soriano swung at it. Yorvit thought, well, I got to try to block this. He goes down, stands up, goes between his legs, back between his legs again, all the way back out to the pitcher.
Here's the 0-2 on Soriano. The last Cub prior to that, here's a name I hadn't mentioned in a while. Remember Jerome Walton?
Yes.
1989, he won the Rookie of the Year award with the Cubs.
A lot of stolen bases.
Every 9 or 10 years, they get a Rookie of the Year. Another breaking ball. Now it's 2-2.
All right, you've tried all these breaking pitches.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
No,
just
I
get it
don't.
near the strike zone.
That's right.
See? And Soriano will chase it. It is time to check today's Quest high-speed pitch. Wells at 92, Hamill at 94. That's brought to you by Quest high-speed internet.
Well, Yorvit had him shake off a couple times, put it in the back of the hitter's mind. Now this time he just wants the fastball away.
And he runs it full, 3-2. The pitch count is actually outstanding. 64 pitches for Hamill. The problem is he's given up 9 hits. And a nasty breaking ball. So Hamill works easily his best inning. His first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. 4 strikeouts for Hamill. 4-2 Colorado. first. What was initially scored in the third is a base hit and then changed to an error on Derek Lee. And this one's turning foul big time. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 errors on the Cubs. They've out hit the Rockies 9-4. And that's a base hit. Bradley got it back in quickly because Dexter is as aggressive as anybody in baseball. Coming around first base and making you field it into a single. Let's send it down again to Alana with today's Mike Shaw Auto Update.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. Right on cue, Dexter Fowler getting the base hit there. I talked to Glenn Allen Hill about what the biggest improvement that he has seen in Dexter Fowler at the plate. He said really the one thing he's focused on more than anything is getting his lead arm involved in his swing. He said that his commitment to that over the course of the season with the pressure of having to perform. He said he's done an exceptional job of focusing on getting that lead arm in and still being able to have that competitive swing, as you saw right there, guys.
Well, he's getting more of an opportunity lately to swing the bat from his natural side, right-handed.
Well, and that helps your confidence when you flip over to the left side. And what they mean by that lead arm, think about taking the barrel of the bat to the ball. That really helps you stay shorter to it.
Gonzalez takes outside.
And what we're talking about, this hand right there, when it starts to go this way, that's what you want, not out and around like that. That's just a nice swing, the way he was able to stay short and compact to the ball.
Snap throw, and gets away for a moment. And then dropped again by Baker, but close enough to Baker that no advancement by Fowler.
But we've seen this now so many times that you're really not surprised by the way the ball's getting thrown around a little bit, not catching it, because we've seen it for 2.5 ball games now.
Yeah, every team is going to have their day in the field.
A day.
Yeah, but the Cubs are pretty consistent. They have a lot of days where they don't field it well. This ball, a liner that's gloved by Baker. Good play by Jeff Baker, stealing a hit from Carlos Gonzalez.
It helps to be about 6'2". You think about last night, Aaron Miles out there a little bit shorter, probably wouldn't have been able to catch this ball. Baker got the read on it, dove at the right instance, and snags that hard hit ball from Carlos Gonzalez.
Helton, an RBI single in the first and a ground ball to Baker in the third. See if Dexter looks to run.
And 1-3-4 on that last pitch from Randy Wells to the plate.
Again, anything under 135.
Yep.
Going to give the catcher a pretty good chance. That's called a strike. 0-2. Todd Helton. Look at this pitch again.
Well, the only reason this was called a strike and helped Bill Wilkie a little bit was the way Coy Hill received that ball. Anticipate a ball in the dirt if you're Dexter Fowler, though. In one of these next couple pitches.
1-2. Helton swings and misses only 11% of the time, which is the best on the Rockies. Hop the most at 25.7. Iannetta next at 24.8. Then Stewart at 24.6.
Good pitch to run on if you're Dexter Fowler. Look to get that lead out there.
I think it'd be an off-speed count.
Well, yeah, and that's why one of two things. They're going to try to get Todd out. If they do, with something down, maybe in the dirt where Coy has to drop down to his knees.
No movement, and the ball did touch the dirt. 2-2. 90 pitches in for Randy Wells.
And really, it's only been that second inning where he was able to glide just a little bit. Even 10 pitches in this inning, but you still got the guy like Helton at the plate. 27. You're looking at that number. We always talk about 14 to 16 pitches per inning. That's the magic number.
There goes Fowler, and it's down the line. Fair ball. Dexter is going to get a green light. He'll score easily. It goes all the way to the corner. It's a double for Helton. And the Rockies have a 5-2 lead. RBI number 64. Earlier in the game, now 65 for Helton.
Well, think about this. With Dexter Fowler at first base, Derek Lee doesn't have quite the range because he's only 90 feet away from home plate. If there's nobody on, he might be able to get to this ball, but he comes off the bag and it's hit so hard, he doesn't have the opportunity then to dive and try to get it. And once it rattled around in the corner, Dexter's able to score easily. 32nd double now on the season for Mr. Helton.
He's been among the top 3 in the league in doubles for a while. Tied for second, Miguel Tejada is first with 33 doubles. Tulowitzki pounds it into the ground. Todd started to cross. That wouldn't have been a good idea. Tulowitzki's thrown out. Troy would be upset. He got a pitch to hit. He just got out front a smidgen. Our Dex this date in history. Brought to you by Dex. Dex knows 1976, August the 9th, Cal Hubbard, with his induction to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown as an umpire, becomes the first professional athlete to be elected into 2 Halls of Fame. In '63, he was enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a result of his performance on the gridiron with the New York Giants and the Green Bay Packers. That's a fair ball. So Brad Hawk grounds out, but the Rockies get another run. A single by Fowler, a double by Helton. It's 5-2. Affair. 2-run home run for Ionetta. That's our big hit of the week, brought to you by Mako. Chris now working down in the bullpen on an off day for him, as Toriyama's doing the catch-in tonight. Jeff Baker at the plate. A double and a strikeout. Hamill maybe the biggest out of the ball game, able to strike out Baker with the bases loaded in the 3rd. And this ball lifted to center field and deep. Fowler leaps, he can't make the catch. Baker headed to 3rd base.
Well, Dexter's okay out there.
Carlos Gonzalez going over to check on him. Dexter apparently is okay. So a leadoff triple for Baker.
When this ball was first hit, wasn't quite sure if he had got it all, but that just shows you the strength of Jeff Baker to hit it all the way out there. And Dexter makes a fine effort trying to catch it. I mean, he goes back there, and all of a sudden, I mean, look how close it is to Hyundai Cam, just about 3 inches, about the width of a glove, or excuse me, a ball from catching that in his glove.
Coy Hill at the plate for the moment. Randy Wells is in the on-deck circle. 5-2 Colorado. Well, Baker was smart. He got a dose of curveballs that struck him out last time, and he said, you know what? I'm going to sit on that.
That's what allowed him to hit it out to center field, because you make the adjustment, and as a hitter you think about that. I'm going to look for that pitch early in the count, and that's what he did. Matt Daly's up tossing now, because if something happens, this might be the last hitter. Even though Jason Hamill only has 68 pitches now, this might be his last hitter. I got to imagine, even though Randy Wells was on deck, I got to imagine guys like Mike Fontenot, Sam Foltz, somebody like that, maybe an Aaron Miles has already gotten loose, and they'll come up and pinch hit.
Well, that's going to get 1 run home, 5-3, and this will keep Wells in the game, as it's a sacrifice situation. It was a really odd game, because Wells, in a lot of ways, has been more effective. Has been a lot more effective than Hamill, yet he's down a couple of runs. Jim Tracy's going to have to go get Hamill. He's given up 11 hits in 5+ innings. And to be objective, I mean, the ball's been hit hard. Not a lot of cheapies.
Nope, been up a lot. Missed his location numerous times today.
Turned Coy Hill into a guy with Minnesota who catches. He's a pretty good stick.
Joe Mauer.
Yeah. 5-3 Colorado. Already home for the Cubs. Nobody out. Coy Hill at first base. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited, local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. Matt Daly will be asked to work the rest of this 6th inning. And Daly's on some kind of run. 12 straight scoreless outings since the 10th of July. The opposition since the 10th of July, 3 for 35 against him. Randy Wells in a sacrifice situation will be his first subject. Jason Hamill leaves on the plus side despite the fact that he gave up 11 hits. It's a good bunt. And Hope will flip to Clint Barnes for the out.
A 6th sacrifice now on the season for Randy Wells. But yeah, with that base hit by Coy Hill allowed him to stay into the game. And now it's up to Matt Daly to be the guy for the Rockies. His spot's due up fourth next inning.
You know, the interesting thing about Hamel's outing, there's only two guys that he handled, Derek Lee and Alfonso Soriano. Terrio's 1 for 3. The guy on deck, Milton Bradley, 3 for 3.
Well, the bottom part of the lineup, too, between Jeff Baker and Coy Hill, 5 for 6 off.
Fortunately for Jason, the struggles at Coors Field continue. Been wonderful out on the road. Swung on a miss, 1-1. But the ERA at Coors Field is over 7.
Yeah, 720 coming into the ball game. Opponents were hitting 370 off it.
And that will go up.
Yeah.
Two and one.
Terrio's got a kind of a unique stance from the right side. He's really up on that left front toe. You don't see that too often where a guy's completely. I'm talking about, watch this foot right there, folks. That thing goes up. And I'm trying to think if I've seen another hitter at this level do that.
3-1. I'll tell you who does it, not initially, but in the process of loading, and that's Albert Pujols.
Yeah, but it doesn't start that way. But you're right. He kind of does it, and it's more of a timing mechanism where it helps him to get back onto that back leg before he starts to swing. Now, when he goes to swing, it gets locked into the ground.
3-2 on Terrio. You go back to the LSU days, Brad Hopp, one of the big stars on that 2000 national championship team, and of his two good friends, Mike Fontenot and Ryan Terrio. Fontenot had the more dangerous bat.
Yep.
Though it's Terrio who plays every day now, and Mike Fontenot typically comes off the bench.
Yeah, he's really made that transition from the aluminum bat to the wood bat pretty smoothly. I talked about it. He tried to switch hit for a couple years in the minor leagues, just didn't work out. Now the confidence that just going up there hitting right-handed all the time, seeing all the pitching, has translated into some success.
Good pitch. He strikes out Ryan Terrio. What a pitch by Matt Daly.
They just really blew it by him at 91 miles an hour. Terrio was so late on that, he didn't start his swing till that ball was almost in the catcher's glove. From the Hyundai cam, anytime you work under the ball like that on a fastball, it's because you were late getting set, getting ready, getting that load.
Geico quote of the day from the late Harry Carey. This has been the remarkable thing about the fans in Chicago. Go back to the quote in a moment. Milton Bradley is 3 for 3 with an RBI. This is a remarkable thing about the fans in Chicago. They keep drawing an average of $1.3 million a year, and when the season's over and they've won their usual 71 games, you feel those fans deserve a medal. That's from the team's broadcaster. Now they average a lot more than $1.3 million, but they win a lot more than 71 games.
More like $3.5 million now.
Daly in the driver's seat with a 2-strike count on Bradley.
He fouled that off his back foot. I think it was. Maybe it wasn't the back knee. Maybe it was the back knee, not the back foot.
Glancing blow.
Yeah, but still it hurts.
Didn't hurt me at all. Here's the 0-2. Good block. Really good technique by Torey Alba.
Yeah, textbook. He wasn't concerned about trying to catch it. He just wanted to be concerned with keeping it in front of him. Hyundai Cam will show you the perfect technique. Hands right there together. Not even worried about catching it. Notice the roll of the shoulders. That allows it to just drop right in front of you.
Bury your chest on it.
Watch that at home, kids. That'll teach you a lot.
You may see that pitch again. Yep, slider. 2-2. Bradley can ever stay healthy? And that's been the question for a number of years. He really is a talented guy, and he has a very good idea of the strike zone.
And he's a switch hitter, which helps.
Yep. swung on and missed, and Milton's going to break another back. Good job by Matt Daly. Check that. Great job by Matt Daly. 5-3 ball game as Daly. Slug bunt. That was big early in the ball game. It also got Lou Piniella thrown out of the game because the throw took Clint Barmes way off the bag. And Chris Ciccione gave him the neighborhood play, and then he tossed Lou Piniella. So he got to indicate out twice. That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Camp. Here's Ian Stewart, and he takes strike one. He has struck out twice against Randy Wells. Rockies up 5-3. You just want to keep adding on against a dangerous Cubs lineup. And that's a good start to the inning. Into the right field corner, Bradley gets over in a hurry and fires it back in. So it's a long single for Stewart. In the last inning, Jeff Baker came up and hit a 415-foot shot that Dexter leaped for, couldn't make the catch. And there's a padding there. There's kind of a rod, and evidently Dexter Fowler jammed his wrist, or maybe cut his wrist, because Keith Duggar, with the Rockies' purple surgical glove, is working on Dexter.
Well, with that chain link, sometimes you go up there and you'll hit your hand on it, and then you rotate a little bit, and that's what allows it to end up cutting. Even though that's covered, we're talking about this area right in there or right in here. Either one of those two areas, you hit it, and you can still rub your hand raw, and that's what it looked like Dexter did.
Stewart takes off, and the hit and run is lined into the seats foul.
It was kind of interesting because of the way the pitch was. It was away. Yeah, it was a hit and run. But Ryan Theriot was making the coverage over out at shortstop. So he had looked in and said, well, it's a fastball away. If they do hit and run, I'm going to make the coverage on it. Pretty smart play.
Fouled off. Another great crowd at Coors Field. Not as large as the first two. But I'm thinking it's in that 40,000 neighborhood.
They went over 93,000 for the first two games.
5 straight ball games going back to the Giants series. 5 straight games of more than 40,000 here at Coors Field. 1-2, and Wells stabs it, and he's only got one play. Low throw. Did Lee stay on the bag? Yes, he did. So moving to second is Ian Stewart, and he'll be out there for Yorvi Torrealba. Seth Smith comes running out of the dugout and jumps into the on-deck circle. Sunday, September 6th, 5 p.m. The 2009 Rocky Mountain Showdown. You know the deal. Colorado State. It is always a tremendous matchup, one that typically goes down to the final snap of the game. Don't miss the battle for Colorado football supremacy. CU-CSU, September 6th, 5 p.m. on FSN Rocky Mountain. Larry Rothschild going out to visit with Randy Wells to talk a little bit of strategy with Torrealba at the plate, Smith on deck. So you can't just say, all right, we'll walk him with first base open. The next pitch for Wells will be number 100.
And also you buy a little bit extra time for the Cubs reliever to get loose out there, and it's Jeff Stevens.
We were talking about Jeff Stevens a week ago in Cincinnati. You want to know why?
I know why, but why don't you go ahead and tell the fans at home?
Well, we were discussing Jeff Stevens because one of the great trades in Reds history, they stole Brandon Phillips from Cleveland for a player to be named later. That player to be named later, here's a base hit, was Jeff Stevens. Around third, Ian Stewart. Here's the throw to the plate. It's offline. Going to second base is Torrealba. 6-3, Colorado. Yorvi Torrealba coming through in a big way.
You talk all the strategies you want. If you don't make the pitch, this is what happens. Yorvi Torrealba gets a pitch down, stays through the middle part of the field, and is able to drive in Ian Stewart. When this ball one hops Fukudome here, two hops, he comes up throwing strong. There's no cutoff man though. This goes back to not a physical error, no, there's a mental error. Now all of a sudden you got another runner in scoring position in Yorvin.
Rockies keep adding on, taking advantage of Chicago miscues. 6-3. Is aboard, just called back to the big leagues 2 days ago after the injury to start pitcher
Carlos Zambrano.
Yeah,
he's kind of on that shuttle between Des Moines and Chicago. And you talked about the trade with Cleveland and Cincinnati with Brandon Phillips and Stevens. Stevens was also involved in the trade of Mark DeRosa with Cleveland and the Cubs.
Well, somebody always wants him, and they're trading a relatively big name for his services. Seth Smith steps up. And he lays off that pitch. It's in there for a strike. Pretty smart decision by Coy Hill. So many pinch hitters sit on that first pitch fastball, and Coy Hill says, no, we're going to go with a breaking ball.
Well, if you can throw a get me over breaking pitch to a pinch hitter that just comes off the bench, you're ahead of everything.
This ball hammered to right center field by Smith. Torrialba will walk home. Smith on his way into second. Make it 7-3 Colorado. Seth Smith doing it again in the pinch. Nobody better. And tacos all around tomorrow between 4 and 6 in the afternoon at your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations.
Well, maybe he didn't want to throw the fastball because he was afraid this is what would happen to him. Center cut fastball. Seth Smith drives it into the gap. That's just a four-seam fastball shown by the Hyundai cam. Head down, drives it out there. And even though it was in the gap, it hit pretty hard. It sure helps when Robert Torrialba's at second base and has to try to score from there instead of first base.
Now another runner in scoring position. Dexter Fowler has scored 3 runs today. A walk, reached on an error, and singled. He's got a 6-game hitting streak. Nine hits now for the Rockies. Still just 1 out. That pitch in there for a strike. And another strike.
It's pretty nice when you go to a 92-mile-an-hour fastball to a 74-mile-an-hour curveball.
Gets the strikeout of Dexter Fowler. Again, when the Rockies score 7 or more runs, as they've done today, the place to go tomorrow is your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations between 4 and 6. Get 4 tacos for $1. Check the stores for more details. Franklin Morales has been warming up. He's going to handle the 7th inning.
Let's go back, though, to that 6th inning, though, where Matt Daly being able to come in and really snuff out the rally for the Cubs with a couple punch-outs to the number 1 and number 2 hole hitters for the Cubs. And keep it 5-3, and now the offense is able to jump on, throw a couple runs up there. Now you extend that lead to 4.
Here's the 0-1 of Carlos Gonzalez, outside 1-1. Robbed of a hit last time up on a nice play by Jeff Baker. Line shot that Baker leaped to his left to stab.
Well, since the All-Star break, Gonzo's been one of the hottest hitters for the Rockies.
Just a different hitter at the plate.
Yeah.
Talked a lot about it. Far more composed, much better idea of the strike zone, much more patient. Here's the 1-2 on Gonzalez, and it's hit in the air foul. 17 for 41 since the All-Star break. The .415 average, the best on the Rockies, and an amazing stat. Yeah, that trumps everything else.
Yep, 27-5, right there, Drew.
And the 5th loss was last night.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of those too were back when he wasn't hitting like he is now, but he was playing this stellar defense.
And this ball in the air to center field, shallow center field, and it's going to drop. Smith scores, and Gonzalez with an RBI single to make it 8-3. And that again is where Chicago's defense comes to play. And you say, well, what happened there? Well, they just don't have the speed in the outfield, and their left fielder, Soriano, plays so deep, he's not even a factor on this ball.
No, that ball was off the plate, drops it in there, but you're right. If you're on the other side of the coin in the Rockies, you got Dexter Fowler or Carlos Gonzalez here. It's just a matter of which one of those two guys is going to catch that ball. But the Cubs, conversely, they got Fukudome, who's a right fielder by trade, having to play center field.
Gonzalez running, and he's out at second base. That's the first time he's been caught stealing this year. He's now 8 for 9. McCoy Hill at 41%. Throwing out base runners. That'll go up. Big inning for the Rockies. They're up 8-3. Rapid rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, and Alana Rizzo on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon at Coors Field. The scoreboard reflecting the beauty of the day. Rockies up 8-3 on the Cubs. It'll be Franklin Morales here in the 7th inning, and he'll face the middle portion of the Cubs lineup. Derek Lee, Jake Fox, Kosuke Fukudome.
Opponent's just hitting .154 against Franklin this year, just 10 for 65.
Derek Lee 0 for 3 in the ball game. Fastball inside, ball 1. Two and 0.
All right, settle down. That's exactly what Yorvit's telling him right now. You got a 5-run lead. Settle down, throw strikes, slow everything down just a little bit.
Ooh, that was close, but called the ball. 3-0.
Just put the same finger down again, set up right down the middle of the plate. Don't get too cute, too fine.
Center field, and it's going to drop in front of Dexter Fowler. So a leadoff base hit for Derek Lee.
It's time for the kids to head back to school, and there's no better place to get your Rockies apparel and school supplies than your local Rockies dugout stores. Receive a free MLB logo backpack with every $75 merchandise purchase. Call 303-832-TEAM for locations for your dugout store. Remember, your place for all things Rockies.
And he falls behind 1-0 on Fox. Got that fastball by him at 94, 1-1.
That's what you've been able to see from Franklin now, that he is just that one-inning guy. Come in and be able to throw the 94, 96 mile an hour fastball.
And that's a base hit to center field. I'll bring up Fukudome. He's taking the slider out of play because he's been behind the first two hitters.
Yep, you got to work ahead. You work ahead, that allows you to throw those off-speed pitches that you're talking about, Drew. Those sliders, especially the left-handed hitters. Into the right-handed hitters, you can throw it to that back foot. You can't just sit there on those fastballs at 94 miles an hour. It's much easier to hit. We know about the numbers when you're behind or ahead in the count.
That's a strike. Fukudome hits under 180 against left-handed pitching.
Well, that front foot comes out. He doesn't like to stay in there a whole lot. It's just kind of backing out a little bit, running out of the box.
And you see that from a lot of Far Eastern players. He's had great success utilizing that, as Ichiro.
Yeah, because right now he's closed up just a little bit and steps more open. Even though he ends up parallel, because he starts closed a little bit, it opens that right hip up.
Alan Cockrell, who's now Seattle's hitting coach, who's the Rockies hitting coach the last couple of years, said Ichiro told him something he's never heard before. He feels one of the keys to his success is the ability to be flexible in the pelvis area.
Well, yeah,
pelvic area.
Because if you're not, then you can only go one direction and it opens up. But this fastball, he stood no chance. Sunday camp will show where that ball is low. I mean, right up there, that's a tough pitch as a left-handed hitter to try to get up on and get on top of that ball. And then with that front side flying open, you just can't do it.
It's Soriano. See, with the size bat he uses, don't you feel like he's got to get started a little bit earlier to get the head of the bat out front?
Well, he does, because the thing about it, that's about a 38, 40 ounce bat. That's how heavy that bat is. The last guy I remember to use a bat that heavy, remember Lance Johnson, White Sox, left-handed hitter? He used a 41 ounce bat.
That hit 20 triples every year.
His philosophy was, I wanted to have as much power going through the zone when I started swinging. When he first started playing, he used a very small, lighter bat, and when he went to that allowed him to drive the ball to the gap. But like you say, you have to start earlier to do it.
1-2. Didn't start early enough there, as Morales keeps adding on. Franklin with that last fastball that humped in there at 96.
Well, now he wants to call the infielders in. Change the signs up a little bit.
You got a veteran guy and a very smart man, Derek Lee, at second base.
Well, and after he's been out there for a little bit too, he's going to sit there and even do this at home sometimes, watching ball games. He'll try to figure out what the sign is. It's usually the second sign, maybe the first sign after two, last sign, all those different things. It only takes about 3 pitches to figure out what sign they're going.
Seeing the pitcher look up at the scoreboard after every pitch, and maybe utilizing the count.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing. I mean, I've heard of ahead, behind, even.
Yep. ABE.
Yep. If you're ahead in the count, it's the first sign. If you're behind in the count, second sign. If it's even, it's the third sign. That one's really confusing sometimes, though. But you have to keep looking up there.
The last thing you want as a catcher to go, I don't know if I hope he's getting this.
Yeah.
This is in the air to right center field. Playable for Brad Hott. Lee will tag. He'll move up. 2 outs, most importantly.
Well, nice recovery so far from Franklin Morales. After giving up a couple base hits, you get the strikeout of Fukudome and an easy fly ball to right field.
Jeff Baker's had a nice ball game in his return to Coors Field. A double, a strikeout, and a triple. Both of his hits have been off the center field wall. Torrealba needed to stretch the left arm. He doesn't need to anymore.
Do a lot of stretching before the game to get loose. He had to stretch way out, get that whole frame over there to get that ball.
Cubs have been a great second half team the last 2.5 years, as have the Colorado Rockies. Since 2007, best records in the second half, #1 in the NL. The Phillies, then the Cubs, then the Rockies. And Morales is behind Baker 3-0 with Coy Hill on deck.
Boy, much better hitter from the right side, too. Wouldn't you know it today with the 3 hits from the left side?
The last thing you want to do is add to the traffic jam on the bases.
Yep.
Give the Cubs a chance to get in it with one swing. 8-3 Colorado. And Baker fouls that pitch off. It's 3-2.
With the base runner going at first, too, you also are going to remind your infielders that they have to throw all the way across on a ground ball now. You don't have just the short throw to second base.
Well, I've always said this game isn't slow. You need the 10-12 seconds in between pitches to remind yourself of what to do when the ball comes your way.
Because that's the key. Know what you're going to do before it's hit to you.
Here's the 3-2. And it's in the air to right field and deep, but playable. Brad Hopp waiting. He's got it. Franklin Morales gave up a couple of hits to lead off the inning. No problem, as he got a strikeout of Fukudomi and a couple of fly balls. 8-3 Colorado. Stretch time at Coors Field. And as we like to do. Do it, Sink. What was that? Rock pile filled up, and they're enjoying things. The Rockies up 8-3 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Rockies will have Todd Helton leading off. A crowd of 40,217. That's 6 straight crowds of more than 40,000 at Coors Field. Breaking pitch down low, 1-1. Jeff Stevens, second inning of work. Pitchers of record, Randy Wells on the south side, and though Jason Hamill gave up 11 hits in 5 innings, he gave up only 3 runs. He stands to pick off his 7th victory of the year.
Wells gave up 7 runs, only 5 of them were earned, and probably pitched better. I mean, just pure stuff wise, the way he was around the plate than the first 3 or 4 batters of the ball game. Jason Hamill.
Yep. But you're also going to have those games where you pitch really well and don't win. This ball's hit well to right field by Helton. Is it over Milton Braxton's head? Yep. Dots off the scoreboard. Todd's got himself another double. Second of the ball game, 3rd hit of the afternoon. Now he's starting to get hot. He's got a 14-game hitting streak, and for a good portion of the streak, it was 1 hit a night. Yeah. Last few games, he's starting to throw out the multiple hit efforts.
Well, and also some more doubles, too. And that's the thing for Todd. He stays on this ball, clears those front side, head down, the extension, all of the above. And then he uses that speed to get into second base.
The blur.
Yeah.
You didn't see it.
With the ball kicking back off the auxiliary scoreboard. Got into second base pretty easy.
Inside on Tulowitzki. We'll have to ask him afterward why that wasn't a triple.
Maybe he just wanted the opportunity of Troy to drive him in from second base.
Logical. Fastball at 93 in there for a strike. Jeff Stevens from Berkeley, California. Originally a 6th round pick in 05 by the Cincinnati Reds. He was a member of the 2008 U.S. Olympic baseball team that won a bronze medal. Went to Loyola Marymount.
Good piece of hitting from Troy to just be able to foul that fastball off. And that's where he's been able to foul off the pitch that's up a little bit more, or also drive it with that new stance, being more upright instead of a crouch where you got to come up out of it to try to get on top of the ball.
That double by Helton, he's got 33 now, which ties Miguel Tejada for the National League lead.
You look at it, I mean, you got a legitimate shot to get 50 this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's Brad Hopp waiting on deck. Brad's got a double this afternoon. Rockies with 11 hits. Cubs have 13. Strike 3. Locked him up with a curveball.
Fastball, fastball, fastball. That's all he had seen. And then they come with the curveball. They started on the inside part of the plate. Well, you think as a hitter it's going to be a fastball, and there's not much you can do. Once you start to bail a little bit, you just hope that it doesn't catch any part of the plate, but it did. Hyundai Cam 12-6 curveball. Coy Hill just receives it very nicely. Easy call for Bill Wilkie behind the plate.
And the fastball in the low to mid-90s. You can see why there's always been intrigue around Jeff Stevens.
Yeah, I mean, to differentiate your fastball at 92 to 94 miles an hour and then throw a 74-mile-an-hour curveball, most of the time you're looking for 10 to 12 miles, not 20 miles between the two pitches. If you've got that, pretty special weapon.
Rockies, over their last 30 home games, 21-9. One and two.
The Hyundai Cam right out of the fingers, the way he grips it, he puts the index finger right on the seam of the baseball, lets the middle finger kind of just go along for the ride and really torques it and come off the top of it.
2-2 on Hop. 1 RBI in front of Todd Helton for the club lead. 66 versus 65. Ground ball through the left side, vacated there. Helton will stop at third. Brad's got his second hit of the afternoon. Soriano had nobody to throw it to, so he's going to run it into the infield. First and third, 1 out. Ian Stewart coming up. It's a good idea to run your dishwasher when it's full. This maximizes energy use. Learn more energy tips at responsiblebynature.com. Fun fact brought to you by Excel Energy. The Cubs are one of 3 teams in big league history to record 10,000 or more victories. The next team to reach that mark will be the Cardinals. They're 11 shy of 10,000. People wondering where the Yankees are. They're 8th all time, 9,540 wins. Ball 1 on Ian Stewart. National League, the senior circuit began in 1876. The junior circuit, the American League, in 1901. That's why the Yankees are playing catch-up despite their 26 World Championships.
I forgot the American League was in 1901. They were the Western League before that.
And the Western League was anything, you know, west of the Hudson.
Yeah.
3-0. Varmus is on deck. Big thing about the Western League was they played on Sunday and they sold beer.
Ooh.
Ball 4. So Stewart on 4 pitches walks. Hop will go to second, and they're loaded up for Clint Barmas. Larry Rothschild started the day at 235. He's down to 218. That was bad. The American Cancer Society is the official sponsor of birthdays and helps you stay well, get well, find cures, and fight back against cancer. Look for the purple canisters at the register in your local King Soopers to support the American Cancer Society. Aaron Heilman, saw a couple of days ago, starting to throw. That last stat on the Western League, the fact that they played on Sundays and sold beer courtesy of Doug Marino. Not surprising that he would have been a fan of the old Western League. Yeah.
Why? Because they played on Sunday, or the other thing?
The latter.
Yeah.
So Barmas 0 for 3 with the bases loaded, and he takes strike 1. And that is a freebie. Barmes gets hit on the leg with an off-speed pitch. There's an RBI. And the Rockies now lead at 9-3 as Todd Helton trots across home plate.
It don't come much easier than this one for a couple different reasons. With the RBI without having to do anything, and then it's a breaking pitch that hits you so it doesn't hurt too much. You just turn to that backside, get it on the left cheek, and there you go.
And those that know Clint Barmes well, it could have been a 95-mile-an-hour heater, and he would have done the same exact thing.
He would have just turned on it and taken the freebie.
This one won't even leave a mark, though.
No.
And Barmes has his 54th RBI. Here's Torey Alba. That's ball one. Yorvit 1 for 2, and an intentional walk. He had an RBI hit last inning. Also scored a run. You know, he's playing.
That was big too, though, because it kind of extended the lead that the Rockies had.
I agree. It made it 6-3 at the time. This is fouled off. Torey Alba's playing, once every third day, a couple times a week. It seems that every ball game he plays, he contributes something offensively.
Yeah, whether it's a sac fly, moving the runner over, whatever it is, that he's been able to do that today. Throw out a base hit with an RBI. He's kind of adapted to that role now, where he's been able to understand what it takes to play twice a week. Go from being a starter to being that guy. But think back to early in his career. He was a guy that wasn't the everyday starter. So he understands the dynamics and how different it is.
Tell you who's fired up right now?
Who's that?
Franklin Morales. Because Franklin's going to be asked to throw another inning. And he is in the on-deck circle. And he loves to hit. And he doesn't get many opportunities because now he's working out of the bullpen.
Yeah, remember when he came up and was starting back in 07, how much fun he had when he would go to the plate, and he wouldn't get cheated. He would take a good, healthy cut at it.
He's a good hitter, too.
Yes, he is.
2-2. Well, right now he's saying, Torey Alba do anything but hit into a double play.
Yeah, I want to hit. I don't care what happens. And he's getting his timing down right now. He's looking at the pitcher. He's doing everything.
This is a line shot, base hit. Torey Alba comes through. Torey Alba's going to have a couple of more RBIs. Hop and Stewart score, and the Rockies have blown it wide open in front of more than 40,000. They're up 11-3. Don't hear those Cubs fans now.
No, you don't. But what a nice day it is for Yorvit.
3 RBIs.
He battled, falling behind in the count early, and just stayed in there and stayed with it. Stayed and went down and got the break and pitch. Little late kick. Right past Jeff Baker out in the center field, driving in Hop and Stewart.
That'll be all for Jeff Stevens. We will step aside. Rockies up 11-3 on a And the Rockies turn a 5-4-3 double play because Chris Caccione, the second base umpire, rang up the force out. Lou Piniella disagreed. He came out in Lou Piniella style, and he was quickly run. And that's when the fun began. The Rockies got a couple of assists on the play. Maybe the umpire helped out a little bit. He also ran the veteran and most distinguished Cubs manager Lou Piniella. That's brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz. You must experience the amazing new E-Class. Yeah, there is Franklin Morales. Don't hurt yourself, though.
No, but Franklin's 2 for 4 this year in batting. His career 7 for 27, 259 average.
Aaron Heilman is on for the Cubs. Runners at first and third, one out. And Franklin was behind 0-2, stepped in the bucket there.
Now, Heilman traded twice this offseason. Originally from the Mets to Seattle, but then also went to the Cubs from Seattle about 3 weeks later.
Franklin was sought after as an outfielder as well when he signed with the Rockies out of Venezuela. Barnes at third, Torrealba at first, 11-3, strike 3. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Dexter Fowler.
Don't forget, behind-the-scene tours of Coors Field are available Monday through Saturday and give you the chance to see areas of the ballpark you cannot see during a game. Group and individual tickets are available. For more information, call 303-ROCKIES to get a Coors Field tour.
On the inside corner on Dexter.
Heilman, with those socks the way they are in his uniform, reminds me a little bit of Todd Van Poppel.
Yeah, there's a name going back.
Well, just Todd used to wear his socks way up high like that.
Heilman didn't have those the other day, though, did he?
No.
I think that's a Sunday dress code for Heilman.
Stirrups, too. I think he and Ubaldo might be the last 2 dinosaurs there are of wearing stirrups.
Ubaldo didn't have to change anything.
No, keep it right where it's at.
Heilman comes on, gets a couple of strikeouts to close out the Rockies in the 7th, but the Rockies come up with 3 more runs. They're up 11-3 as we go. Rockies. By the great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. By Searchlight Channel 888 on your Comcast remote for real estate, automotive, careers, and more. And by Taco Bell, think outside the bun. More than 40,000 in the house. And save for a select few Cubs fans, they're enjoying themselves. 11-3 Colorado. Todd Helton will have the rest of the afternoon off. Garrett Atkins will replace him at first base. Troy Hill, who's 3 for 3 in the ball game, hits it in the air to center field. That'll be 3 for 4 as soon as Dexter makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Aaron Miles will pinch hit here for Aaron Heilman. Miles started last night, had a triple in the ball game. Veteran switch hitter in from the right side.
From the right side, hitting .259 this year.
One ball, 1 strike. On the ground is short. Good pickup by Tulowitzki.
Makes that play look so easy.
Kind of an oxymoron, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 outs. Time to check in again with Alana Rizzo. Hey, Alana.
Hey, Drew, just a really quick injury update on pitcher Alan Embry. I ran into him into the clubhouse today, and if you squeamish, turn away. You might remember this injury back on July 10th when he got hit in the leg. Really messed up, fractured his leg, actually, and he had to have surgery to repair it. He's having another x-ray on August 11th to determine when he might be able to start a throwing program, and more importantly, to see whether he might be able to come back before the end of the season. So I joked with him, I said, I'm sure your honey-do list is a mile long. He's like, no, I can't do anything. My leg hurts. He goes, honey, I can't dry those dishes because my leg hurts, guys.
That's a good one.
Run that line by me again. I got to write it down.
Yeah, write it down, Drew.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure Wendy and Chris won't let you guys get away with that.
No, not at all.
No shot. 1-1 on Ryan Theriot, and he has a base hit to right. Second hit of the afternoon for Theriot.
One more point on that Alan Embry injury. I was walking in with him yesterday from the parking lot. And we were talking about the leg, how you doing? He's able to walk on a little bit. And he goes, yeah, my son keeps saying, Dad, come look at this, because he keeps rewinding the video. And I was like, no, that's okay. I've seen it enough. Thank you.
It's changed his mindset, though. If he can't come back in September, he's already said he's coming back and pitching next year. And earlier this year, he felt pretty strongly that he was going to head back up to the Pacific Northwest and call it a career, and a great career. But now I said, there's no way I'm ending having been basically carried off the field. 1 ball, 1 strike on Milton Bradley. You know, you had to go through it, make a decision at some point in time. You had a family. And
it's not an easy decision.
It's got to be hard, because it's one area in life you know you're not going to really be able to revisit again unless you're Brett Favre.
Right, but even then you can understand why he keeps doing what he does, just because you're sitting there going, if I take this uniform off, I can't put it back on at my age. You know, we saw Gabe Kapler do it. He took his uniform off, went into coaching, but he was young enough. He realized at 30, 31, you know what, I can still play. So then he flipped it over, went back to playing again. But when you're 37, 38, the clock is really ticking now.
Josh Fogg getting loose. The Rockies, in a perfect world, would like Fogg to make the start on Tuesday. And if you missed it, Aaron Cook has been pushed back to Saturday in Florida. This is softly hit to shallow center. It's going to drop. Bradley has 4 hits this afternoon. The top of the order didn't disappoint for the Cubs. 6 hits between Theriot and Bradley.
Well, that was kind of the theme, and one of my keys to the game today was the top 3 on what was going to happen. Well, it's been the top 2 for the Cubs. It hasn't been other than one hit by Derek Lee, but he really hasn't done a whole lot of damage. You look at what the Rockies' top 3 guys have been able to do. You're looking at this 5 runs that they've scored. Todd Helton's driven in a couple runs. Carlos Gonzalez has driven in a run. Dexter Spallage scored 3 runs.
Good breaking ball to Lee, 0-1. Cubs all time at Coors Field since this beautiful facility opened in 1995, 30-30. Right field, tough play for Hop, no play. It's over his head, that'll bring in a run. And Derek Lee has a double. It is 11-4. 3 straight hits with 2 outs.
We saw Derek Lee hit a home run to right field yesterday in the 5th inning, almost in the same exact spot. Fastball away from him, able to get those long, long arms extended. And this time just had a little bit too much topspin, wasn't able to get out. Did one off the wall. Brad just chases it down. Franklin, go ahead and settle down. You've only given up 1 run, but get this last guy out. Feel good about your outing. It's been a pretty solid outing so far.
Well, Jake Fox has had his moments today. A double in the 1st, hit by a pitch in the 3rd, grounded out to short in the 5th, and then singled in the 7th.
Ramos Ramirez shoulder still barking. Jake might get the start again tomorrow at 3rd base.
Batter. Jeff Baker.
Jay Beck, yep, Bake could too. A couple hits today.
It felt like it was going to be 4 or 5 days for Ramirez. And it hasn't become a subject because the Rockies have blown this thing wide open. But in a tight ball game, there's a good pitch. Ramirez really not available to Lou Piniella, but you don't want to DL him. So you got a shorter bench, not to mention, one of your top 2 RBI guys.
Right, and that anchor in the middle part of your lineup, number 4 hitter, taking nothing away from Jake Fox. But he doesn't have the pedigree. He hasn't been around long enough like Ramos Ramirez, where he just strikes fear into you when he steps into the box.
So now you really don't have a power guy from the right side coming off the bench.
The only other guy you have left, right-handed, would be Soto, and he's your backup catcher.
Swung on and missed. So Morales strikes out Jake Fox in the inning. 3 hits and a run for Chicago. Rockies still comfortably ahead, 11-4, middle of 8. Fowler up top has scored 3 runs. Carlos Gonzalez, another couple of hits. Todd Helton's got 3 hits in a 14-game hitting streak. Yorvi Torrealba down in the lineup with 3 RBIs and a couple of hits. The Rockies up 11-4, and here's Cargo to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. And the new pitcher is John Grabo.
Really the only left-hander that they have out in their pinch. Sean Marshall's still down today. Wouldn't have to use him after the spot start the other day. Going to get a little bit of work out of everybody, especially after Aaron Miles pinch hitting for the pitcher spot last inning.
I'll tell you how old school Lou Piniella is. Yesterday, when he was asked about how long Marshall would be down, this is pulled foul. Marshall threw in doing this on memory, I think in the neighborhood of 70-something pitches.
That's 62 pitches.
Okay, 62. Still, 62 pitches
in
out of the pen in 2 innings. So a lot of them were stressful pitches. He said he's down today. Well, he'll be available tomorrow. Meaning today. This ball is fair. Carlos Gonzalez with his 3rd knock of the ball game. He's around second, and he'll stop there. So Gonzalez, 2 singles and a double. And that average continues to rise. Jeff Houston, you were talking about the top of the lineup coming into this game. The first 2 ball games they had done very well. 7 for 13. That's pretty good.
It just doesn't get any better than that. Also 6 runs, and it goes back to the very, very first batter of the ball game when Dexter Fowler was able to get on from a walk, and Randy Wells just couldn't get into sync. Gave up 3 runs that inning, and then it's just kind of carried forward. They just built on what they've had and what they've done this whole ball game.
First at bat for Garrett Atkins. He stepped in last half inning for Todd Helton at first base. Rockies with 14 hits. The Cubs, believe it or not, folks, have 16 hits, but only 4 runs.
16 hits. Yeah, that's hard.
That's hard to do. More on that in a moment. Carlos Gonzalez with the 3 hits today, 3 for 5. He's got the average to 284. Garrett Atkins draws a walk. Actually, let me correct that. It's 283.46. So it's.
Well, I would round it up then, because the 6 would round up to a 5, the 5 would round up to 3 to a 4.
That's why you were a career 3-10 hitter. Just kept rounding up.
Well, that comes from a hitter's perspective.
Exactly. 2 on for Troy Tulowitzki. Troy had an RBI single back in the first. He's 1 for 4.
Brad Hopp due up next, and Ryan Spilborghs has grabbed a bat. Come to the on-deck circle, give him a chance to get a look at the left-hander. With a left-hander tomorrow, and Tom Gorzolani really might get the start out in left field.
I'll tell you how unusual the 16 hits and only 4 runs is. It's happened only 2 other times this year. The Mets had 16 hits and 4 runs in a 5-4 loss at Philadelphia on June 10th. And back on May 24th, the Pirates won 4-3 against the White Sox. Deep short. There's 1, and Baker able to turn it over. Pirates won 4-3 with 16 hits against the White Sox on May 24th. The Cubs, in all likelihood, they better lose today. Down by 7 runs. They have 16 hits. That's amazing.
Hard hit ball from Troy. A little 2-hopper. Easy throw to Bake. Had a little trouble getting it out. Strong throw. Double play.
Brad Hopp is not going to hit here. He's being given the rest of the afternoon off also. It'll be Ryan Spilborghs. This is different.
But not unusual for Ryan.
No, it's consistent with Ryan's personality. It's just different. Got a little
like
sideburn, then he makes a left turn with it.
But Josh Falk a couple years ago, remember, he kind of had those sideburn chops that came down just a little bit further. They weren't cut straight across.
Trying to figure out what that looks like. What it looks like is, you know, like geometry 101.
Right angles, left angles.
You know, and it wasn't something he did haphazardly. I mean, he's got some work. He definitely has the 90-degree angles going with the side runs. Too much time on their hands in the game of baseball. Too many days on the road. Now, Alana, you asked him about his facial hair, didn't you?
I did. I noticed when you went in the clubhouse yesterday. I said, "What's going on with your face?" He's like, "Oh, I just decided to do this. No reason, really." He never has a reason, yet he has so many different designs.
That is why he's Ryan Spilborghs.
That is exactly why he is Billy.
And that's why he's so valuable in the clubhouse.
He is a free spirit. Two and two. And I think, and I've said it before, I think it helps him as an offensive player because he's able to wipe out the bad days at the plate, which every player has, and just move on.
And it really is. And sometimes you can overthink this game too much and it consumes you. And other times you just got to let it roll off your back.
This is popped up foul ground. Derek Lee's going to have a play. And we will go to the ninth inning. The Rockies leading the Cubs 11-4.
Todd, his 14-game hitting streak. Also, speed trap. What Dexter Fowler and Carlos Gonzalez do for the top of this lineup. And, of course, we'll get you into the Rockies clubhouse and hear from Colorado's. It looks like they're, I'm going to go on a limb and say they're going to take this one. Drew?
Gambling man, you are. Head to Vegas. Ryan Spilborghs will take over in right field. He pinch hit for Brad Hawk. Omar Quintanilla is out there at shortstop, so Tulowitzki will get off his feet a little bit. And the new pitcher for the Rockies is Josh Fogg. He'll be asked to get the last 3 outs. He's kind of under the radar because he pitches in long relief. But Fogg has been just sensational saving the bullpen on days, on the rare occasion where a starter has not given the Rockies length, and it has been rare. And when they've been in a situation where they need him another time, he's just done whatever's been asked.
Well, he's just been professional, I think, and he's probably going to be asked to start on Tuesday. And you're thinking, what? You know, this is Sunday. Well, this might be a side session for him, and hopefully he can get out of here throwing less than 15, 20 pitches and still be able to come back and start on Tuesday. But he's a guy that will take the ball. He'll sit down there. We've seen him sit down there for 7, 8, 9 days, not get into a ball game. And all of a sudden, you ask him to come in and pitch a couple innings, and he does it.
2-1 count on Kosuke Fukudome. And to your point, righty's hitting 109, lefty's hitting 186 against him.
He's part of that bullpen that we talked about, the batting averages against, the ERAs, all that everybody understands where they're slotted out there in that bullpen. So if something happens in the third inning, phone rings, you know what? It's Josh Fogg's turn. If it's the 8th inning and you've got the lead and it's a close game, it's going to be Betancourt. 9th inning, it's Houston Street.
How about this, Huey? At Coors Field this year, he's pitched 12 innings. He's allowed 1 run.
Yeah, and that's the other reason why you're thinking, okay, Tuesday, perfect opportunity against his old ball club. Pitches well here at Coors Field.
Hard on the ground, down the line. Fair ball. Fukudome with a double. Today's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John. Todd Helton had himself an afternoon. Punched a single to left to drive in a run in the first inning. Then he had a double down the right field line. Not using the whole ballpark. And then he muscled up and hit one off the scoreboard. 2 doubles today for Helton, 3 hits, got a 14-game hitting streak. And he's tied with Miguel Tejada for the league lead in doubles. That delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's. Alfonso Soriano will not hit. This will be Samuel Fold. He's had an interesting route to the big leagues. See, Fold is from New Hampshire. And he went to the prestigious Phillips Exeter Academy, finest prep schools in America. On to Stanford, where he was a huge star, 3-time All Pac-10 player. And then drafted by the Chicago Cubs. He runs very well. He throws very well. More of a gap hitter.
Yeah, and good base stealer. He can really do a lot of different things. Not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but he'll give you a solid at bat, take 3, 4, 5 pitches.
Did I mention also the part that's a little unusual? He's from the state of New Hampshire.
Right.
You know, not a ton of players come out of New Hampshire.
New Hampshire to Stanford.
And that's a long way. That's about 3,000 miles.
As the crow flies.
Crow takes a couple of stops. Stops in Peoria. Stops again in Des Moines. And refuels in Hastings, Nebraska. And then it's on into Palo Alto. 2-1 on the corner. Three and 2. Chopped to short. Quintanilla with a tough hop. That ball under his glove. A run was scored. That ball never came up. It took a hop and stayed down on Omar.
Yeah, when it hit the second hop, he just didn't stay down with it. Instead of working underneath the ball, it goes up hard off the dirt and then skips off the grass, and that's what caused it to skip again. And then right when it hit the dirt, there's been a lot of traffic out towards second base, and see how that ball just scooted instead of hopping again. And that's why it went underneath his glove. One more hop and then boom, it just stays down.
So an error on Quintanilla. Jeff Baker at the plate, nobody out, a run in. It's 11-5. 2-0. Doug's done some digging. All-time Colorado Rocky shortstop fielding percentage. Oh, this is all-time. This isn't just Rockies. This is all-time. But the 4 guys on the list all played for the Rockies. That's what threw me off. If you played at least 75 games at shortstop, so that's not a ton of games. Swung on and missed. Jamie Carroll, now at the Indians, a .992 fielding percentage at shortstop. That's number 1. Omar Quintanilla before that era, .988. Alfredo Amezaga, who's now with Florida, former Rocky briefly, .986. Troy Tulowitzki tied with him at .986. It's going to be an interesting battle for the Gold Glove at shortstop this year in the National League between that guy and Jimmy Rollins, who owns the last 2. Jimmy's made only 3 errors.
Yeah.
But offense always factors in.
Yeah,
it should,
really
but
does.
it does.
And I like what Troy said. Was it yesterday's paper today? I'm not quite sure. But he said, you know what? If I don't win the Gold Glove, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Whereas I thought maybe in 07, he had a legitimate shot just the way he was able to field that year. And plus he had the offensive numbers. But it was his first year. But then it comes back to the East Coast bias thing and all that.
.3-1 on Baker, and he drives this to deep center field again. This one, Dexter's going to catch. It's the 3rd time Baker has hit a bullet to deep center. The first 2 resulted in a double and a triple. This one, Dexter ran down. 1 out. Coy Hill coming up. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Hill at the plate is 3 for 4 this afternoon. Former huge star at Wichita State for Gene Stevenson. They just keep cranking out talent. And the former Shocker takes strike 1. Mike Fontenot is in the on-deck circle. Got a little everything today. Circus-like defense from Chicago. Plenty of offense from the Rockies. 11 runs, 14 hits. Lou Piniella throwing, by his standards, just a minor tantrum. Yeah, that was tame. Somewhat tame. He did get tossed, though. Alan Trammell took over. Tomorrow's pitching matchup, a couple of lefties. Tom Gorzolani against Jorge De La Rosa.
Interesting to see Gorzolani again. Last time we saw him with Pittsburgh, he was coming out of the bullpen.
Yep.
And then he got sent down, was down in their AAA farm club for a while, made a number of starts down there, and they came over in a trade just recently with him.
Strike 3 on Coy Hill. So he is dismissed. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Mike Fontenot.
One ball might have been off the plate a little bit. Bill Wilkie said, you know what, I've seen a lot of pitches back here today, a lot of hits. Pretty close. Monday Cam.
See ya.
It all adds up. Off the plate just a little bit. Close enough, though, in a 11-5 ball game. Strike 3.
And on the ground is second. Barnes to Atkins, and that's that. On a Sunday afternoon, the Rockies win it going away. The final score 11-5. Colorado has taken 2 of the first 3 against the Cubs. Rockies move 11 games above 500 to 61-50. The Cubs fall to 58-51. Jason Hamill gets the win. He's 7-6, and Randy Wells takes the loss. He is 8.